Hey, well, Dave here from Fix and Fly RC. Been a minute since I've been able to do a video, so not that anybody missed it, but got quite busy doing some other projects, and I just posted some videos a while back on repairing my B1B that I had tip stalled and had to replace the spar for the rotating wings, and basically took two planes and built into one. But you can hear that story on those videos. So this is a comeback. I had posted an early video about working on my first time ever trying to cover an airplane. My first time with monocoat and covering. And if you didn't see the first video, just a quick recap here is a friend of mine was building this plane. It's the Sea Fury, and got all the balsa work done. It even got the wing complete and covered, and he had some personal stuff come up and he just wasn't going to be able to finish the plane. And I bought it from him, held on to it for a while, hoping that maybe he'd get back at it. But so I just decided to go ahead and give her a shot. So this is the fuselage that I covered, and for the first time, and clearly a lot of learning. And anybody that happens to watch this video that's got any suggestions or recommendations that I kind of walk through where I ended up on the plane, I'd be greatly appreciated, because I clearly am learning and learned some, but I'm sure there's a lot of little things that I could have known better, done different. So just quickly, as you can see, did a two-tone. I went and Googled, anytime you're like weathering a plane or trying to match anything, if you go, go online, find some pictures of the actual planes and stuff, and try to match that. You'll never get one 100% perfect, especially if you're weathering. And if you want to know more about that, RC Geek has some great videos on how to weather. He's got a book and stuff out there, so it's a great resource on how to do that. But so the first thing I did was I covered the battery can't cover right here. I'd covered. Now I made a critical mistake. Well, critical is I got in a little bit of a hurry, wasn't paying attention, didn't go look at my go by, and I actually covered this in the gray color. And so I had to go back and recovered it in the blue. So I started the cover, and if you remember, before this tail section came off another plane that was wrecked, and so and this plane didn't have the tail section yet, so I used that to put on here. But there was a gap right here from the fuselage there, and I had to try to find a way to fill that in. So I took some balsa, pieces of balsa, and glued them together, and tried the best I could to do a contour, but didn't have the right tools and everything. Probably got a little bit too big a hurry. Glued that in. Tried to use some wood filler, just to kind of smooth it out. It didn't work good, and I don't know if maybe I'll take a close up, but you can see there that it was not smooth and it didn't cover well. So not real happy with that. I started with I went ahead and did all the tail sections first, and these were already covered. I tried to cover over one of them, but it had like double cover in a couple places, and it just wasn't looking good. So I took that off, and worked with a heat gun. So I bought me a nice little heat gun off of Amazon, and so I went ahead and bought a heat gun, and I bought me a covering iron. I had one I'd borrowed, but I went and I bought one, and then the little small finishing iron. And I went ahead and got the digital readouts on these, so you can actually see what temperature you're using, and I think that helps when you want to bump it up a little bit. Just have a little bit better idea than just the dial. Didn't really cost enough more to justify not buying it, but went ahead and got all that new. So I went ahead and covered the tail and the elevator sections, and you can see that the bottom, of course, is gray, and then the top is blue, and then this section is gray. So you know, definitely a lot of learning about how to make the patterns and make sure they fit, and not to cut too much material, you know, make it too big, but, you know, leave enough to work with, and how to, you know, do the seams and stuff. And of course, one of the areas that, you know, I struggle with, and this will be, if anybody has any suggestions, I'd love to hear it, is on how to, you know, how to trim, the best way to trim, to, you know, make nice smooth lines. I did notice that I could take an X-Acto and just lay it flat and lay it down, and that would just leave just a little bit of an edge, and I could even trim that off a little bit. So I got those done, and then it was ready to start on the fuselage. And again, I started on the bottom, you know, put a piece on the bottom and just overlapped it a little bit on the top here, and then, you know, came up on the top side. Now, one thing that happened was, ended up being, I didn't have enough monocoat actually to do the whole fuselage. The roll that he gave me from where he had worked on it just was going to be not quite enough, and I wasn't sure, you know, I didn't want to change grays, but started looking for it. And for those of you guys that have been doing this for a while, you know now, and I'm just learned, is that monocoat's gone. For, you know, they're not making it anymore. And this gray is called a flat dove gray, and I looked for all over the place for one, couldn't find one. I finally bought another roll of a different brand, and about that same time, somebody emailed me back that I had emailed one of the stores and said he had one roll of the flat dove gray left, so I went ahead and bought that too. And so I was able to finish in the same color. So I might have gotten the last roll that exists. I don't know. The gray came out okay. Again, not 100% happy. It's still got a few little wrinkles and stuff in there. I haven't gone over it with a real hot iron yet to see if I could wrinkle that out, because I was more afraid of maybe damaging it. So anybody has any ideas of wrinkles? But I guess the price, I made the biggest mistake, and again, always, you know, looking for recommendations, is the top, the blue here. And the critical mistake I made is, you know, how to make this straight line right here and keep it clean. And you know, I tried to put some, you know, masking tape down and some frog tape, you know, and I did that thing to get all the sticky off of, to try to give me a straight line. But what I thought would be easier, and I think that was a mistake, was I went ahead and put the one line down, and then was going to wrap over the top, and then I was just going to have one edge to cut. And I really had a hard time getting it to wrap over the top here. And I'll take some pictures and try to insert it in the video here. But clearly I got wrinkles all over here. And of course, from a distance, you can't really tell. Up in the air, you'll never see it. But, you know, on the ground, clearly you can see it. So not exactly happy. And then, you know, when I tried to trim, let me get up so I can point here. When I try to trim right here, you can see I missed that a little bit. I may try to see if I can patch that, but you can see it was just, I couldn't figure out really how to get that line right there to be nice and straight. So kind of messed that one up a little bit, but it's covered. It'll fly. And if, you know, if it does well and I'm really happy with the plane, then I may try to pull this off and do it again and just make it a little bit better. But of course, a little afraid of, you know, trying to pull that off. I did learn how to pull some off with the heat gun and just heat it and pull, and it seemed to come off okay. But for now though, the covering's there, and it's to start putting the rest of the plane together. The big thing that I'm trying to work on, trying to figure out, is how to do the cowl. There wasn't one to come with it. He made actually a mold for the, you know, to heat up like a, you know, plastic bottle and put over it. So I'm going to try that, but I got a good friend that also does a lot of 3D printing. And so one thing, if anybody has any good recommendations for 3D print files, you know, that I could find, especially for the Sea Fury, we'll definitely go that route. He's been 3D printing planes, and they're doing really well. and he's got the ability to make it, pretty thin and not add a lot of weight to the front. And then that way I can go ahead and get the motor mounted, and a little bit of paint, of course, here for the exhaust. And then I had to take the pins and stuff out of my hinges here, and they didn't come out very easy, so they bent. My hinges are just temporarily attached because I just wanted to see what the plane was going to look like. So I went ahead and bought some new hinges. I'll probably just go ahead and replace the hinges instead of trying to find pins to put in there. But I did find a neat little tool. Probably a lot of you wouldn't use anything like this, but it's a hinge slaughter kit from Dubro. And it's got this little template thing in there, and you can put it on the edges there, and you can easily make a hinge groove for hinges and stuff. But it also has a little drill template too, so for like putting I'm guessing, I'm hoping like horns or something like that, but we'll figure that out. Or the plastic hinges, if the nylon hinges that got the little holes in them, he did show like people putting holes in it and putting like CA glue on the top instead of just gluing it and sticking it in. He was using, I've seen people use CA glue. I'll probably use, I like this liquid foam cure from BSI because it's still flexible. And if you ever need to get it out, it's flexible enough you can dig it out without, tearing the wood all apart. I'm hoping if it ever comes apart. So anyway, that's where we're at with the Sea Fury. I got the tail well system from Dubro that I'm going to put in. Got to figure out how to put that in. So put the tail system in, get the hinges put on, get the cowl, and get the motor mounted. The wing's done. Got the retracts in it, lights are in it. It's all wired up, so the wings are ready to go. So of course, put the canopy on. But she's at least kind of looks like a plane now. But said about a dozen times, but would really love to hear any suggestions or help from anybody that's been doing this a while. I think my next goal is going to be to actually start an actual build, kit build, and start that. Just so going to build one. This will be my second balsa plane. Of course, probably scared to death to fly it. Foamies, I've been able to do a lot of fixing. Clearly, balsa doesn't just glue together like the foamies do. And but anyway, again, appreciate you watching. And as always, comments are useful and handy for those of us that are still new in this part of the hobby. And hope you guys have a blessed day. Dave out here from Fix and Fly.